Welcome back to our final episode, episode 6 in our 6 series special, Discover, Design, and Delight in Your Own Personal Masterpiece with Stefan Labas, executive health coach and master of many Eastern philosophies. I have learned a lot on this journey and have been so glad to sort of share it with all the listeners, but it's also something that I think people can bookmark and come back to. Especially the session previously we did with the breathing and sort of the Psych K super learning, and we'll have all the links in the show notes that you guys can go dig in deeper. And of course, you can also get a hold of Stefan because he's doing lots of cool things, helping people in so many different ways. Okay, what is on deck for today's episode, our last episode? We are going to talk about the importance of having a team around you that supports you in your goals, but also holds a mirror up to you. So, i.e., accountability partners. Stefan is also at the back end of the podcast going to run us through a short exercise he does with his kids, and it's good for everybody, but it's especially good for kids to build that strong self-confidence. And also he's going to flip this key for us. Hopefully we're going to see him do that and look at energy, the power of energy. So before we get into the practice, and Stefan runs us through some cool exercises, let's get into the topic of becoming the CEO of your own life, and then the concepts and the ideas behind actually putting together your own personal board of directors. I will just read off a couple quick little points on this, and then we'll get Stefan's input as to how he implements this with his clients. We're bombarded with information, data, stimulus, even on a millisecond level, right? We just boom, boom, boom. The information comes to us in so many different ways, especially through this thing we used to call a phone, which is now kind of a personal computer. It's hard to take a 30,000-foot view of our own life and then drill down to find the micro steps that we need to take and achieve our goals. And once we do start to walk down this path of really wanting to make some positive changes in our life and implementing these behavioral changes, there will most certainly be moments where we slip up or we slide backwards or we even fall down. And developing a personal board can help kind of keep you honest and have people who can give you constructive feedback. And that's important for sustainable change. We can all make short-term change usually, but sustainable change is the trickier one. I often think about AA, Alcohol Anonymous, and why they're so successful as a program. And it's not just that there's accountability there. I believe the group structure and the added mentor that comes with when you are in AA is a key part of the program, because the people that become member or mentors have suffered through the same disease of alcoholism that those people who are now struggling, well, I guess you're always struggling in a way, but who are now at the beginning of their journey, and having somebody who's actually understands your struggle, really deeply understands your struggle, I think is kind of a critical part in why people are able to sort of tackle that big subject and disease of alcoholism. Now, I know that sounds maybe a little bit heavy, but I think you can take that concept of having mentors, having support groups, looking for others for strength when maybe you might not have so much yourself. And I'm sure we've all been there, and understanding that and then applying that to our own life so that we sort of, I think Stefan, you had mentioned kind of build an armor around ourselves a bit more and are less vulnerable to these sort of less insignificant or less significant issues. So I've talked enough now. Stefan, first of all, any thoughts on what I just said? And then secondly, how do you work with your clients on accountability? Because you can't be there with them all the time. Do you have any tricks and tips and ideas?
Yes. Well, let me start with some thoughts about what you were saying, because it fitted a little into my preparation. even now I'm going to tell something what not a lot of people were knowing right now, but it's just a reality, and that's what it was. So when I grow up, my father was a heavy alcoholic. So my childhood was really, from that perspective, was very difficult, because I was a lot confronted with fear. The topic of fear was a lot when I was a kid. So fear was a big point in my childhood because of that heavy alcoholism of my father. But now I want to go forward and take the benefit also out of that one, what it did with me. And then I was connected or came in contact with my martial art experience. So I started to do martial art when I was about 7, 8 years old. I started to do martial art, and martial art became my kind of my family. Martial art was kind of my father. They teach me a lot. I learned a lot in martial art. I learned one of the things that I learned amazingly was to focus on one thing, and only on that, and not being disturbed by anything else. So really,
it's my biggest lesson.
So really being able to focus and don't get disturbed from outer or inner distractions. Not from your phone, not from your thoughts. So don't be only 100% focused. And I've learned that, of course, through martial art. When you go through the belt system of white, yellow, orange, blue, brown, black belt as a master degree, I learned that was one of my takeouts of the martial art. I learned to focus very strong on things that I want. So I learned to be able to make pictures of what I want with that. I didn't understand it back on that time, but I understand it now. When I look backwards on my mental capacity, I learned to focus, and with the learning of focusing on something, I also learned to make pictures of what I want, what my wishes are, and what my desires are. Because the most difficult thing for us in mental training is for people to make them be here, in the here and now, and thinking of something that they want to become, and feeling that way already. So if you're poor and if you don't have money, how can you see and feel yourself with a lot of money, with a lot of wealth? How can you deal with when you're an alcoholic person? How can you see yourself and feel that you're without alcohol again? And the same with your weight. How can you feel and see yourself when you have lost 20 pounds? Anyway, that was my take out. One of that, the strength was to be able to focus on something. My weak point a little bit with that was I started to become a little warrior, a
fanatical,
warrior,
maybe.
A warrior, which were able to do everything on my own. So everything, if a situation become complicated, difficult, stressful for me, I figured it out by myself. I said like, hey, I can do that. I'll do this on my own because I'm strong enough. I have enough power. So I became a little one-man show, really. And every time it became difficult in my life, I went back in my cave, call it now like that, kind of my cave. A lot of men are maybe a little bit more like that. They go back in the cave. They don't need to talk a lot about that. They do it on their own, and that was my martial art warrior in myself. The warrior Stefan went back and, hey, I don't need any help. I don't need any support from other people. I can do this. And that's a strength, but it's also can become also a weakness. As I figured out later in my life, hey, yeah, you can do a lot of things on your own, and it matters on your self-confidence. It matters on your power. You can achieve a lot of things on your own, but you can't achieve everything. And actually, to be honest, the most things that we achieve is because through others, through the view and impact of others on us. Environment shapes people.
Yeah, it does.
Environment shapes people. So, and that was something that I realized when I developed my concept in martial art, which one part was focusing, being able to hold true. And the second part was being able to concentrate. And now concentration means to get out, have the bird's eye perspective, lean back, get the bird's eye perspective. To do that, to go from the focus, from the really focus on one thing, to go out in the bird's perspective mentally, you need to be able to relax. And that's why the active relaxation exercise is so important. But then you go back to your bird's eye perspective and you start to realize, hey, okay, where I am, what do I need to do to change or to be able to have a life which I'm under control, that I have the body that I want in my life, my perfect ass, my perfect money and wealth, my perfect health, my blood pressure, everything is perfect in myself. I need to zoom out and see the whole picture. And for that, I need to have the concept of having a distance perspective. And then it was one of those days, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I read this book by Napoleon Hill.
Ah, yeah.
Grow,
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich,
yeah,
genau.
Yeah.
I read that book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, which is amazing. I can recommend it to everyone. It's very complex. It has thousands of things in it. But one thing struck out to me back then, 15 years ago, and it was that mastermind group. He described it as, you are what the 5 people are around you.
Yes.
That's what you are.
You're the average of the 5 people around you. Yeah.
You're the average of what the 5 people are around you. And that just kind of blew my mind a little bit.
It's powerful.
It's powerful. Me in a way of that thought that, holy crap,
Yeah.
This is really true. What are the people are around me? First of all, I don't have a lot. It's the main thing or my thing. I'm a little lonely warrior fighter. So I don't have too many friends or people around me, but who are they? How are they? Are those negative people nagging all the time, complaining about everything? And it doesn't matter if they have a lot of money or not money at all. Some people are complaining all the time or struggling all the time with the same things. They don't grow. They don't develop. They just spiritually or financially, it doesn't matter. They just stay on the track and rotating. And back before, I was always thinking, but those people it's okay, but what do they have to do with me? I need to make my own way by myself. But then I started to realize, hey, I can make my own way by myself, but I need to have the right people around me to be able to expand more. And what are the right people? And then I came up with that mastermind group. I thought like, okay, who are not thinking of who has how much money and that.
Right.
So just thinking about, hey, what people around that I know closer or far are really people that I really like because they're really cool, because they have a good health. They are happy always. They smile, they laugh, they talk. They have also a lot of money or enough money. So who are the combination of those people? And I found 5, 6, or 8 of them, and I invited them for just for a drink or a party or a coffee. I even think I did a workshop with them. There were 6 guys. I did a workshop with them on martial art, just for fun, just have those 5 people together and enjoy that energy of those guys, of the people who were so humorous, happy, powerful. And I realized, wow, that's cool. I also want to be like that. I also want a little bit more, have a little bit more money, have a little bit more this, have a little bit more that. But if you surround yourself with the right people, you also become a part of them.
Yeah. I think that comes back to energy, right? I mean, I've had to do some of my own personal energy adjustments, shall we say, in the last year. And it wasn't so easy. And, but when you get a little bit of distance from it, you see that individually, sometimes everything's fine. But when certain people get together in certain group dynamics, the group itself can change and the energy can change, and the values or the lack of values in a group setting, whereas individually you could pull out an individual and it wouldn't be the case. But in a group setting, sometimes it can happen that you have these dynamics and they start to become petty and small-minded and exclusive and value scarcity. I only value this if other people are excluded. That's only meaningful to me. Or, I'm going to look the other direction if somebody's misbehaving because I don't want to be kicked out of the group, and you get a little distance from it. In the middle of it, it's you feel lost and gosh, not sure how to behave, not sure how to understand it. But you get a little distance and you see, okay, first of all, everybody does things because of themselves, not because of somebody else, right? And that's a lesson that I've learned. It's not necessarily personal, but at the end of the day, if it impacts you negatively, other people's values or negative energy, then you just have to adjust to it, right? You just have to decide, okay, that's not what I want to put my energy in. And, there's these calendars that I've thought about getting. It's a little bit morbid, but for me, it's a motivator. When you have if you have the average lifespan of, let's just say positively till, let's say 85 or 90, and every day you mark off a check mark of that you've been alive, and you look at this thing physically and you see, okay, I've got a third of my life done, or 2/3 of wherever you are. And all of a sudden you see you've got these so many unchecked boxes. Who do you want to spend your time with? What kind of things do you want to talk about? Do you want people around who are positive and who are kind and who are inclusive? Or do you want to chase other values that, well, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And so I think that it's just, in a way, it all comes back to energy, doesn't it? I mean, really, if you really think about it, what kind of energy do you want to surround yourself with? And this is so important, I think, to sustainable happiness, even if it means you have to have a smaller circle.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I mean, it might mean that you have to reduce who you're exposed to, and that might be really sad and uncomfortable for a little while.
Yeah, I think it's true, and it's exactly the combination that I try to teach, or that I try to learn for myself, and I teach also others if I can. It's the combination of you attract things to you that you are sending.
Yeah.
So sometimes some people have they say yeah, but why does it happen always to me? Why do I have always this stupid boss in front of me, or the stupid customers, or the stupid kids, or the stupid teacher, or the stupid whatever,
Everybody else is stupid, but I'm perfect.
Everybody else is stupid. It's like an attraction. They're like a magnet who pull all the stupid people around them. Yeah, that's true, because it has maybe to do because your frequencies are on stupid, bring me all the stupid, and they bring all the stupid people. I mean,
and the universe answers you.
I'm making it up now a little bit, but the ghosts where you're calling, they're coming,
But it's a good point, because you're saying, you're coming back to accountability. You're saying, look, we are responsible for the energy that we're pulling in, and either we invite it or we stop it, right? Which is a really good point.
Exactly. So the first important point of all is, okay, at the first point, forget about all the others. Take about care of your own health, of your own feeling good, feeling great, feeling happy, doing things for yourself that helps yourself to feel very good from inside, making you happy from inside. Do your exercises, do your breathings, bring yourself into the center, go for walks, doing things that really brings you health, for your inner system. Because if you change that, first of all, then you change your magnetism, the thing of your magnetism. And you pull, because you're happy by yourself, you also start to pull others, first of all. So first change that magnetic field by changing yourself. That's the only thing what you can do. And the second thing is, that's what something that I realized that only later in my life, because in the beginning of my life, when I was young, I was always surrounded, especially by my family, which is sad a little, my own
Right.
family, the people
You
who are
don't get to
very
pick your
close,
family, right?
the people who are
You
very
don't choose
close
that.
to me, and so by realizing that my close family and my close friends were very narrow-minded of, don't do this, don't do that, be careful, and don't become self-employed because it's very dangerous, because you can't do it on your own. It's a big risk, so better be employed, then you have a safe money and everything. So and I wasn't realizing that it really was impacting me, but it did impact me.
And that goes back to the earlier episodes in fear, where we talk about those early messages you get from your family of the limiting beliefs, right? And
Exactly.
just
And
how much effort it takes to deprogram yourself from, unfortunately, sometimes the shit our parents do to us, even if it's out of what they think is love.
Yeah.
Right. They think they're trying to protect us. And what they're doing is limiting us from really realizing our full potential sometimes.
Absolutely. And what happened that time, why did it change with me, was, of course, as for many people, we need a breakdown or a total crisis in our life, and then you come up with some new energy. So my crisis was my first divorce from my wife. So divorce, it's always a very difficult thing, as you were talking the other day in your other podcast. Divorce, it's
Thanks
the
for
worst
listening.
thing. The divorce is the worst thing that can happen to you, in a way. And the other side of the coin is, for me, it was terrible, but it also gave me new energy, new power, new getting rid of everything that I believed before, and have a new mindset. And my new mindset was, yes, I can do everything I want. And with the right people around me, I can achieve everything. And then I was lucky to get some people came in my life, or maybe it was not luck, maybe it was also the law of attraction, because I changed my magnet field inside. People came in my life that I attracted, and they helped me. They helped me with another view of, hey, of course you can be self-employed. Let's do this, let's do that. Let me help you. And they helped me. We did a brochure, we did that, and I started to be self-employed. And it was.
Can I just stop you for a second? Because I just think that's so powerful. Being an entrepreneur, and especially a sole proprietor, you wear so many different hats, and it can feel so overwhelming. And and I'm going through this at the moment, wondering where am I best spending my time, and having people around you who can help. Well, I guess that gets us to the point of our whole entire podcast today, that see a different perspective, or have done it themselves before, have gone through it, and can give you just that little tiny piece of advice that all of a sudden opens up your thinking. You're like, oh yeah, I should look at it like this. And just how important it is to get those different perspectives and have that positive energies field support around you. I just gosh, I want to drive that point home, because like you just said earlier, you can only do so much on your own. What's the saying? You can only do so much on your own, and getting other people around you is just so much more important.
Yeah, definitely. And it was life changing for me, because first of all, you get rid of fear. I realized that for me. You get rid of fear, and you start to realize, hey, I need to talk to people that maybe I thought I should not talk to them. I should not call them. I should not ask them, because it seems to be a weakness of me to ask people about their opinion. So it was my own mindset.
Yeah,
and I
it's
changed
true.
that of, hey, it's not a weakness. Are you stupid? It's not a weakness. It's a strength. Go and ask that. Call that person and ask him if you can have a dinner with him or a lunch with him. Talk to that people that you think, oh, they don't want to talk to you. Talk to them. Take 5 people and do 5 things that really makes you out of your comfort zone, and talk to them and make an appointment. The second thing is what I realized. What I realized is, stop limiting yourself by thinking, oh my God, I don't have the money to do that. I thought this also a lot, I would need a coach now to help me with whatever the money point, or what I need, my weak points, or another. Everyone has his weak point. So I need a person to help me with that. But, I don't have enough money, so I can't do this.
Yeah.
You feel sorry for yourself. You struggle in a circle, and you think you don't have enough money and you can't afford that, or you think, no, I don't need this. I know exactly how to do it. And you do it, wrong, or you do it always
Yeah.
the same way. So if you
Yes.
do things always the same way as you do them, how can you expect that things are changing in your life?
Yeah.
So
You
if
get
you
the same
want
result.
things to change in your life, you need to do things in a different way as you have done it. And how comes the different way? From other perspectives, because you have your perspective and other people have their perspective and experience. So get bloody other people's invented in your life and talk to them and get out of your comfort zone of I can do everything, I can fix everything on my own, into, yeah, hey, I can, but it's even more fun with doing it together with other successful people. So go, and that's why that's when I invented the mastermind group in my head. And now how to do that? Of course, as we had in our second episode, the meeting with myself as a CEO of my own company, I'm doing it there in my meeting with myself. When I have my 4-quadrant sheet, I go and also think of, okay, in the mental part, that's the thing that I use in the mental part. Who are the people they surround me, they do me good, and who are the people that don't do me really good in a way?
And you think about that, you're consciously kind of acknowledging that.
I'm consciously thinking about that, and I'm consciously thinking about making one thing that I'm really afraid of, or afraid of, like, oh, no, I don't want to call this person because I feel stupid, call that person. And I'll do that. I'll eat the frog. This is the
yes, eat the frog.
So
exactly.
do something really, really scared of. And I did this with calling some people or writing them an email and asking them, hey, what's about having a lunch together? And I implement this in my meeting with myself every 3 months. So that's how I build my board of directors, by having them single-wise. You can also organize doing things with people that you like and that you need together.
Yeah, I had some points. I had some ideas about that, just to kind of give people some action points that I did a little research on this, and just some best practices, really.
Yeah.
And one is that it probably should not be someone in your immediate family.
Yeah.
Because they are too close to you, and they have vested interest sometimes in either you achieving something or not achieving something.
Agree.
And so the input might just be a little bit too biased. Yeah. So that was one principle I came across. A life coach or some sort of a coach can be one, but perhaps if you're already engaged and paying them, they're doing their role anyway. So I guess how you feel about that, I don't know, but the suggestions that I read about would be, find somebody in your field or your industry who's done something that you admire or would like to learn more about. Find someone in your group who's already a natural cheerleader of yours, who does take the time to give you good feedback anyway, unprompted. Someone who's also willing to hold that mirror up to you and say, look, I know that you're going down this path, but here's, something to think about, or maybe you want to approach that a little bit differently. And also another one is somebody who's living a life that you'd like to lead. And that's not necessarily financial, although it could be. Maybe there's something that they did smart investment wise that you want to learn from. So of course that's very interesting. But someone who's living, let's say, a life where they're not in fear, someone who's not living in fear, someone who you notice every time you meet them, well, they really feel like they're living in the present. They've got a good spirituality around them. They are, just a kind person. And so those are some tips about the types of people that you might want to have on your board. And then circling back to what you were saying, there's no right way to do it, whether you have individual meetings with these people or phone calls, or whether you actually take the time to get them all into a room once a year or once a quarter, depends on how flexible those other people are with their time. So that's up to you, right? That's up to the person, how they structure those feedback sessions.
Just don't overthink it. If you overthink it, then you start to think like, I should do that, but I don't have the time right now. Just don't overthink it. Do something, do a list, write a few names down, take a list, write few names down, and make straight away in your weekly calendar a mark of, okay, next week, Thursday, I call this guy, or I call this woman, or I call this person.
Yeah. The other thing I just, as an addition, is for those out there that are listening that might be a single parent or might have gone through divorce and now are now a single parent or a widow, or, you know, someone who's successfully changed careers and you admire that. So reach out to those people, because sometimes if you're a single parent, you might say, well, how can I possibly go after my passion when I've got 2 children to feed? And now since I'm divorced, we've got two properties we've got to, you know, keep up. Seek out people who have done it, right? Who've experienced, again, going back to the AA example, find someone who's been in the trenches in your situation. How did they get around that? What did they do? There's actually so many good ideas out there, so many different ideas and ways and to get past all of our excuses, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
I've had also people in my life that called me, and I was impressed about them. They called me and said, okay, Stefan, you know, can you give me some advices? Just about, I want to talk to you about, have a coffee and talk about certain things which I'm struggling a little, and I'm wondering how you're seeing that and what you think about that.
Yeah.
Don't know them very good, and just say like, yeah, I've heard about that and that person, and I'm curious what you think about. Would you do that? And I said like, yes, of course. Every time I did it, I took 1 hour time to talk to students or to other people from other branches. They said like, yeah, I want to do similar things than you do. How have you done that? What was your experience? You know,
it's very powerful.
I think that's what we have to do. That's my perspective. I will do this all the time anyway. So I think that's what we have to. That's what we have to owe to the community of all together, because we all need each other on one point.
Yes,
and we should also.
You want to give back
to help each other. You know.
Yes, I really live my life with that philosophy, and everything I do is meant to sort of, kind of give a leg up to anybody who needs it. But I also need it too. So recognizing where I struggle and where I need help. And it's kind of like infinity, right? We're sort of just, sometimes we're helping people, sometimes people are helping us, and we kind of toggle back and forth.
Absolutely. And what I would like to add on this board of director thing, which I think it's very important, and it changed a lot in my life. And of course, I did it after a crisis, you know, and also always after crisis, you struggle and you need something that helps you develop. And developed that. I did from that point. I started to do every day. I took 1 hour every day, and now it seems for people like, oh, but I don't have 1 hour. Where should I have 1 hour? So if you don't find 1 hour per day for yourself, then go and check your week, go and check your day. I can do it with you together. You can do it on your own. I help sometimes with people with that topic, because they say, I don't have this time. And then I say, let's find that. Because everyone has the same amount of time. It's the matter of priority. Even if you have 2 kids, 3 companies, whatever you all have, then let's write all the topics down and see your schedule of time. How do you need the time for what? And let's see where we can find 1 hour that you take out for yourself, because taking it for yourself is the most important thing. So I took every day 1 hour, and in the first 2 years, you know, I was so down in my life. I thought like, how do I come up again? And I watched every day 1 hour videos, YouTubes, and everything else from motivational speeches. Motivational speeches and people that were successful. So there was kind of the board of directors. I did not have them in front of me, but I watched what they did. I watched Arnold Schwarzenegger and all the people who were top motivational speeches. I listened them over and over again, and the same video all over again, again. I needed that for my own setup. And as we know, repetition gives the subconscious mind the power back. So I was watching the movie, The Secret, The Law of Attraction, The Secret. I sent you the link.
You texted me that. Yeah.
I watched that movie one time. It's about, I don't know how many years ago. I watched that movie every day, an hour of that movie for about 6 weeks. Wow. Every day I went up and watched the same movie. And I said,
Wow.
why do
That's
you watch the same
dedication.
movie? Do you know what it is about? But I needed that
Yes.
upload over
Yes.
and over and over
Yes.
and over and over again. And it really helped me to increase the power inside of me
Yeah.
and helped me to go out and realize what I need to do and what I don't need to do, and to get in this board of directors
Mindset.
Mindset, genau, the mindset of board of directors, the mastermind set. And what was interesting, all of a sudden, other people came into my life. I changed the magnetism for my subconscious, for my Ausstrahlung, for my attraction.
Yes.
And people came in my life which were successful in that.
Yeah.
Either
I
financially
believe it.
or
I believe it.
health-wise or whatever, you know.
I'm a believer. I'm on that journey. I've probably, I mean, I've got a long ways to go, but it's everything you say is things that I either am implementing or am starting to implement. I listened to a podcast yesterday with Tony Robbins and Lewis Howes, and I listened to it again today. There was so much in there that, and I try and take notes, and it gives me ideas for things that I want to talk about, because you hear a little comment, you're like, I can tie that into something here on a blog or in a course, and I can talk about that. And so and these are free. And these podcasts are free. These YouTube videos are free. So it's such a great example. If you're on a tight budget, or you just don't have that confidence to reach out to real world mentors initially, go find them online and build your confidence to then reach out to somebody and build a real life, board of directors. And then I think, just closing before we head into the exercises, I think it's also important that you don't make all of your goals and achievements just about you. I think it shouldn't all be me, because people also aren't going to want to help you constantly just fulfill your own, financial goals and, your business goals. I think also you would want to have, or should want to have, a bigger purpose behind it. If you're successful, maybe you will do more volunteering for something that you feel passionate about, or raise money for charity, or help the people on your board with their passions. Or maybe you advocate for policy changes because there's something that you've seen that isn't serving, citizens in wherever you live. I know that I hope that's not too preachy, but I think understanding our why is important. Why are we wanting success? Why do we want achievement? Is it just to be, on the cover of a magazine and have everybody, kind of bow down to us? Or is there something bigger we're trying to achieve? So,
well, Arnold Schwarzenegger says this in his motivational speech, one of the best, and is one of his 5 points that he have. And one of his 5 points is give back.
Yes.
Give something back to the people, give something back, start to give back. And it gives you the most power, and the most satisfaction comes from giving back something.
Yes,
that was
absolutely. And another point that I hear is that, say, if you're not happy with yourself, try and make someone else happy in the interim, right? In the interim, you don't know how to make yourself happy. Do something nice for somebody else, and immediately you're going to get some good feeling back from that.
Not expecting anything back. That's the trick.
No, just a feeling, that feeling that will bring to know you'll at the end of the day, even though you were doing something for somebody else, genuinely, you will feel good about yourself as a side benefit, as a side result, because God, I did something that wasn't serving me. I served somebody else today, and that still makes us feel good.
It has to do with energy. It's a law of attraction. It pulls. You pull what you send.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the principles that you said was, where your energy flows, your attention goes. And this should lead us into the CEO of your own energy exercises.
Exactly. I want to build it up a little bit, because I want to make something with you guys all together, that you not only hear and about talking, so really that you do also something now with your mind, first with your mind, and then also a little bit with your body. So the first I want to do with you quickly, it's something, I call it the game. It's a funny game. I like it. I did it a lot earlier in my life, and today I'm not doing it anymore so often. But it's really a funny thing. And so if you're a group of people together, as we can do now more, hopefully, like party or whatever, having a dinner or lunch
Oh,
with
right, because of
people together, then asking the people of what we have done that always on our tables. It's really interesting to get the conversation ongoing. So what would you do? What would you do, and how would you be in your life if I would give you now $250 million? You would have now, you could make hocus pocus, and you would have $250 million on your bank account. What would you do, and who would you be?
I can answer that.
Answered?
I would buy number 12 Oberhopholz house, which is at the foot of the forest, which has a ton of land, and it even has what looks to be an old horse stables. Cool. I would use part of it for my family. I would use part of it to rescue animals, and I would convert the old barn into a sort of local, let's say global and local think tank. But it would be a think tank as a poor terminology for it. But it would be a place where I would let, let's say, different groups come. So it would be a combination of, let's say, corporates as well come and talk about how they're trying to change something for the better, try and have dialogue around something, whether it's climate change, whether it's nutrition, changing our viewpoint on nutrition for children. But then I would also use that as a way to invite children in, let's say children from poorer backgrounds, or don't have access to, let's say, sessions on meditation, sessions on nutrition. So it'd be a combination of for-profit, but the people that can afford it, the groups could afford it, would support or underwrite the free sessions, the education, the kind of idea of supporting people. So it'd be kind of this kind of, I don't know, zone where people would also be having a lecture, and maybe a goat is walking around in pigs, and we are lowering our blood pressure. Maybe there's yoga retreats there that are, combination. So it would be to enhance the neighborhood in a mindful way, but also it's like the next generation WEF, basically, with animals and with actually trying to do good and not just trying to get your ego, out there with WEF and the ridiculous amount of prices that they charge for people to come to WEF. And then they just, it's like a group, orgy of look at my private plane and look at how important and successful I am. I think it's total waste of time now. Anyway, that's a side topic. But that's what I would do. Not with every last penny of the 250 million. Of course, I would invest it. I would be philanthropic, but that would be an action point I would do immediately. I've got the house picked out. The people, fortunately, that live there don't know it, but
I think it would be good. You can also have a structure in that for that question for the people. Either you have a structure, or you do this. I also do that game also sometimes in my meeting with myself, because it's cool. It's a cool game.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And the question is, so what would I do if I would have 250 million? It's just amazing amount of money.
Yeah.
And what would I have? What would I do? And how would I be in my life? So what would you have? It's like your house, your car, whatever it is, and really try to describe it quite exactly in details, as you did right now, exactly the way as you did that now.
Yeah.
What would you do exactly if you would have so much money? How would your how would your weekly structure would look like? What would you do every day, every week, every month?
So much more time with animals.
Who would you be? Who would you become?
I think I would be the same person, actually. I think I would just have bigger impact with the money. And I would spend my days probably fulfilled.
What would that make with you if you would have more impact with your money? Just thinking a little further on that, because in the beginning you think, I would do this, this, and that, and then where would you be? What would you feel? And maybe going in those thoughts a little bit. And maybe we can do an exercise with all people together, only with the people who are driving, not.
Yes.
And the people who are walking should be a little careful by walking.
They can find a bench.
Yeah, genau. But don't drive with that.
Don't drive.
So maybe close your eyes for a second. Just close your eyes. And just think yourself or feel yourself in that person. So you have right now, you have your 250 millions on your account, and feel yourself. How would you feel when you have all the things that you want to buy for yourself? What you would do with that money? How you would be, how you would become in your life? Just think, feel yourself a little bit into that feeling. Just breathe it in and feel. How does that feel? Where I am? Am I on an island? Am I here? Where am I working from? How much do I work? Just feel a little bit that inner feeling of that nice feeling of having as much money as you need and even more, and have all the things you want material-wise, doing all the things that you want to do, travel wherever you want to do, working with people that you want, not working with people that you don't want. Feeling that inside, get the feeling, picturing it, feeling it, breathe it. And who would you be? What would your personality be? Who would you look like? Because of what you could afford. Okay, good, very good. You can close, you can open your eyes again. Just as a quick exercise of getting that feeling inside of your body and really feel the way how you would be. Because that's one exercise, as we know, the subconscious. Our subconscious is responsible to achieve all our results. We said this.
Yeah.
Our subconscious mind cannot make the difference between reality, what he sees, or what it's really reality from inside. So if you see something somewhere and it goes through your eyes, it becomes your reality. That's why it's so dangerous with kids, letting kids playing shooting games and killing others in a game. Because for the subconscious mind, there is no difference between the reality and the game. So, but for us, if you can close your eyes and you can see and you can feel and you can smell things with all your senses that you want to be, that you want to become, that you want to have every day in your life, then you will have this, you will invite this in your system, in your energy, and all the energy starts to work for you. It starts to work for you. And then you start to become what you mostly think and feel. I think Napoleon Hill brings it in his book very clear under a table how that works, the magnetic field. And maybe we can go back here also to the energy work again. So energy, our body and everything is made of energy. Energy are waves. Everything that surrounds us and our whole body, it's made in the finest cell, it's made out of waves, frequencies, waves. So we have 30 billion cells. 30 billion cells. This is an tremendous amount of cells. And every cell has the voltage, the Spannung, the voltage of about 0.7 volt. Which is nothing. 0.7 volt, you can see, you can't feel, there is nothing. But all the 30 billion cells together have an electricity and power of 3.5 billion volts altogether. And that's all in our body. Wow. And to make you an example what it means, 3.5 billion volts, high voltage cable, from the electricity cable, high voltage cable, have 380,000 volt. So if you touch a high voltage cable, you'll die immediately in a second. You fell over and you die. So that's how much power a high voltage cable have, 380,000 volt. And if we can channelize all our energy in our body, the power that we have, it's about, don't take me on the they say different numbers, but one research from Bruce Lipton, he says like they have 3.5 billion volts. So the energy, that's why the energy work that I do in Qigong, using for healing methods, using for clearing your mind on seeing and believing what you want to become and what you want to achieve. All those energy, the thoughts are energy and frequencies. This is measurable. Thoughts are frequencies. So, and if your thoughts and your feelings are aligned on both, so what you think and what you feel are in the same wave, then you can achieve outstanding and amazing results in your health, in your goal, in your posture, perfect ass, perfect wealth, perfect everything you want, perfect blood pressure, everything. You only need then the implementation of doing it regularly and focusing on doing it. I would like to give you a little example here. Comes my key. That's the point where my key comes. So so this is nothing to show off, it doesn't help to show off here, but it's like if your imagination, what you think and what you feel are aligned on the same thing, that you really believe in what you think, because that's the difference, that you really believe that from your subconscious. If you believe really what you think, then you can use your energy in your body, and energy is electricity, it is waves in a way. And that's why this metal key, it's just a normal metal key. I can show it again. It's a really big one, because one customer of mine, she came and brought me that and said like, can you also do it with that? Because it's really heavy.
She gave you a challenge.
To give you a chance. And now what I will do, you guys need to see it on my hand. I will only do it with my thoughts, only do it with my thoughts. And you can also try this at home if you have a key like that, like any key. You can put it on your hand, and when your thoughts and your feelings are aligned, then you can change the key on your hand. So I'll just hold the other hand below, that my hand is still and is not moving up and down, of course, because there is not a trick. There is just your thoughts. And now I need to click in, just shut up quickly and focus on the process. Really see, focusing only on that capability to turn the key with my thoughts and letting go anything else at the same time. It's really difficult with that heavy key. Flipped it over.
That is crazy.
It took a little while. It takes a little longer with this one. Yeah. Because obviously it is a little heavier, and it is heavy. And of course, crazy. If you have stress, if you have a stressor, so if you know everyone looking at it.
No, of course. That's performance anxiety.
It produces stress, of course, and the stress interferes in your brain. Like
yes.
But now it's important to be able to focus, and that's what you can learn, and that's important for life.
Yeah.
Focus and don't get disturbed. So don't let thoughts in your mind of, oh shit, am I able to do this today? What if I can't do this? very embarrassing, or you want to show something and you can't do
Yes,
it.
yes.
So you need to get rid of all those thoughts and really blocking and focusing on your energy. If you don't focus on your energy, and if you don't focus on letting go, if you're not focusing 100% on letting go, then it won't work. And this is just an example for energy wise. And you can learn that. Everyone can learn that. I can teach this to people through Qigong, how they can focus the mind and the subconscious to help them to achieve any goal you want to achieve in your life, any goal.
I think we have to do a session together with, between my followers and you, Qigong
Qigong.
session, Qigong
Yeah.
session, and a little bit of topics from my world. And because one of the areas that it's actually growing, that is an economic opportunity, is this space of personal growth and mental health. And there's apps that are coming out to help. There's science coming out to help, and people are really tapping into this. So there is actually an economic opportunity for people to invest in some of these sectors as we learn more about the power of our energy, the power of all of the things we've been talking about in these 6 sessions. So we'll have to do something like that together.
Because it's not a spiritual thing. I can read something here from I found this just the other day from Albert Einstein. I love it. You can share it.
Yes.
From Albert Einstein, a scientist, not a spiritualist. He writes, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it.
Yes.
Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. So Albert Einstein said already exactly this. And also Nikola Tesla, from the other guy who was describing the energy, what it does and how it is and how it becomes.
Very, very powerful. Good. Well, I think we've come to the end of our series, and it's been such a pleasure. I think we're not gonna know what to do with ourselves, Stefan. Huh? We've been so used to meeting up now regularly to talk about our So we'll definitely keep in touch, and we'll organize some events together at the Belvoir or wherever else.
I'm happy to share also the things in groups or one-on-one, whatever, together, to do certain exercises together, because I'm a fan of doing things that you really can feel it. Otherwise, it's just blah, blah, and you hear it. And there must be also things that you can take home values and things that you can do, because you are the person that you are. It's because of things that you are doing, not things that you are knowing.
Yeah. And not something that you're inherently this way or you're inherently that way. As we've discussed throughout this whole series, you can be the person that you've always wanted to be. It's a decision away. It's a mental decision away. And then of course it needs to be followed up by action, but you weren't predetermined to be, a bad person or a, stupid person or a lazy person or an overweight person. None of those things. That's all societal tags. You can be whoever you want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. Any closing thoughts?
Well, I think
say goodbye.
I'm very happy to be able to be here. That I could share that I could share my thoughts and my experiences all of a sudden, and my always developing, that I could share this with people, with you and with all the people. And it was very nice doing that with you, because you ask always those questions about, but this is all theoretically nice, but what to do now? What are the steps to do now? And that's, well, of course, that's something that's the most important things, to know the steps, to know the strategy, but also to have the energy to be able to do what you want to do. So I'm happy that I could do that. And I wish you all the best for the time with yourself, and the reflecting on the awareness, and to get the board of directors into your life.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm going to start implementing that board of directors because I've done it a little bit, sort of unofficially, but I think now I really need to come up with some very solid points that I'd like to get their help on,
Yeah.
and then implement that. And so,
Cool.
sorry for Harley making a little bit of noise right now. Anyway, it's been wonderful. Please, anybody that's listening, give us your feedback. Reach out to Stefan if there's something particular that really resonated, or you use one of the tips that he's given throughout this series. Let us know. It's so important to get the feedback and hear the people's stories. So, please share this podcast also with any young people who are just starting their career, because there's so many principles here that will benefit them as well. But anyway, wishing you well, a beautiful day, love and light. Namaste.
Thank you, and have a great life, and hope to see you one day.
Yeah, good. Namaste, shot callers. Thanks for joining us on this wonderful 6 series special. Go discover design and delight in your masterpiece now.